Hi there, Secret Trent here with another of my What Do I Think videos. And today we're considering the question, what do I think about fashion as a creative expression? This question comes from my friend Tracy, so thank you for the question, Tracy. Much appreciated. And if you want to ask me your own questions or get my opinions on some subject, feel free to make a suggestion in the comments below. I'd be happy to do it. All right, so what do I think about fashion as a creative expression? Well, it's definitely a creative expression. I think it's a very personal creative expression. It's something that I engage in on occasion. I think it's very worthy of consideration in terms of art, in terms of fashion, in terms of society, and on many other levels. So I think fashion is a very interesting topic. It's not something I'm an expert at. I haven't spent a lot of time studying it. I do love costumes, and I've made a lot of my own costumes over the years going to science fiction cons, and I've always considered making costumes to be a form of expression. I didn't do cosplay, so I didn't dress myself up as other characters generally. I just made my own kind of original costumes and outfits in a fantasy milieu, let's say. And I really enjoyed doing that. And sometimes I would turn these costumes into kind of normal pieces of clothing that I would wear every day, and they were a little unusual, but I really liked them for that reason. So I've always been one to dress a bit eccentrically, even when I was a little kid. Now, I kind of wish more people wore many different kinds of clothes and used it as a form of expression more often. I have a little bit of a prejudice against, say, your three-piece business suit, which you see everywhere. Makes everyone look kind of the same. I suppose that's part of the point of it. But I find it to be, well, basically kind of boring. I don't mind the idea of formal clothing or dressing up, but I find the sameness of it, the push to have everybody look similar, to be somewhat off-putting and not very interesting because, well, it lacks personal creative expression. I also don't particularly like t-shirts with slogans on them. I don't mind t-shirts. I mean, it's just sort of a flat colored shirt, but t-shirts with writing on them, well, I don't have any problem with anyone wearing them. It's perfectly fine. And they are a form of personal expression. I don't see them as fashion. They're sort of a message of some kind, a statement. In a sense, to me, that's not really fashion. That's like writing or political speech or something like those lines. And I think those things are interesting, but I find it weird to be on people's clothing. But, you know, to each their own. That's just my personal opinion about it. So I do, however, dress practically most of the time. You will see me wearing like some cargo pants and a t-shirt and a pair of sneakers and nothing really terribly interesting. That's because I'm out hiking and it's hot. Maybe I've got a hat on, and it's mostly to protect my eyes. So I think most people are wearing clothes for more practical reasons instead of fashion. It's only when they're going out or maybe going on a date or doing something special that we really kind of engage in this personal expression modality. But then again, I mean, if I had the clothes for it and I could invest the time, which I generally don't, I would wear unusual and interesting things more often. But it's just not high on my priority list, so you won't see me dressing especially fashionable most of the time. Let's see. I used to do it a little bit more when I was single, of course. I mean, there's a motivation to look good, to attract the opposite sex. That's also a form of personal expression. Find it in the animal kingdom. You find it with people. And I think it's great. I mean, I actually think it's pretty cool. But since I'm married, I don't do that so much anymore. So you'll find me in practical clothing a little bit more often. Now, another thing I think is interesting is even though people will wear, clothes for hiking or clothes for work or clothes for something else, this is also a kind of personal expression. I mean, your clothes are telling something about your personality, your beliefs, your interests, your style, what you think is valuable in your life. We don't often look at it this way, but they are a strong signal. That's why if you want to dress up as a construction worker or something else, you're going to wear certain things that are symbolic of that. They were not designed for fashion. They were designed to do a particular job. But they, in a sense, become a kind of fashion in and of themselves. Same with athletic wear or anything else. So I think that's worthy of consideration. We can't just sort of brush all these kinds of clothes aside. So long as these clothes actually represent some kind of either personal expression or usefulness, if they're just worn in order to look like everybody else, well, that's where I start to feel like fashion breaks down a little bit, because I do think there should be an element of personal expression in the things that people do. If you want to look a little bit like, or you're inspired by somebody else, that's one thing. But if you're just trying to sort of like copy what other people are doing, is that really about you? To me, it's not so much. All right. But again, I don't want to tell anybody else what to do, especially as something as trivial as what clothes to wear. I'm not going to judge you for what you wear. You can wear the silliest thing in the world. I might comment on it, but I'm not judging you for it. So just so we keep that in mind. All right, well, I think that's all I really have to say about clothing and fashion as a personal expression. All right, again, if you would like me to discuss a topic that's interesting to you, go ahead and leave a comment below or send me an email or contact me in some way. I'd be happy to do it. You can always find me on Facebook as Siegfried Trent. And if you like my videos, please subscribe to the channel. Click notify if you'd like to be notified when new videos come out. I'd appreciate it very much. All right, thanks, everybody. Have fun out there. Bye-bye.